In the beginning of the drama, we saw a place called Kashgar, where we see a married couple. The husband's name is Ming, and his wife's name is Feng. Now at this point, Feng was pregnant, and both of them had just moved from China to live in Kashgar. After searching for a while, they find an old couple's house where rooms were available on rent. That old couple welcomes them very warmly and with a lot of love, so both of them decide to rent a room right there. In the next scene, we get to know the real reason behind this move. Actually, Feng had taken a transfer to Kashgar because of her job. Now Ming's own work was also going quite well, but still he left everything behind and shifted here just for Feng. And now, both of them were thinking of spending their entire life right here in this place. After some days, they have a daughter. Her name is Yugji. And within a few years, little Yugji grows up into a young girl. For Yugji, Kashgar is not just a city, it is her home. It is her world. The old owner of that house, Mei Lin, is someone Yugji considers her own grandmother, and Mei Lin loves her deeply. The owner of that house also has a daughter of her own, whose name is Yao, and there is one more family living in the same house on rent, and they have a daughter too. Her name is Yun Mei. And this is how the friendship between these three girls began. They all grew up together, inside the same house, under the same roof. Meanwhile, time keeps passing. With time, even the color of the front door of the house keeps changing. But the bond between them, that stays just the same. However, slowly, everyone's life had started to change. Yugji no longer lives in Kashgar. She now lives in Shanghai, China. She works there as a real estate agent. But just by looking at her, you can tell she is not at all happy with her job. Because of extreme work pressure, her personal life has completely disappeared. Even if she gets injured, she still has to go to the office. She still has to complete her work. And even after doing all of this, her boss never appreciates her. Because this time, Yugji's team had failed to hit their target. On top of that, her best friend Yun Mei was texting her from Kashgar to come for Yao's birthday, which Yugji simply ignores. Meanwhile, back in Kashgar, Yun Mei and Yao were having a great time. Yao was literally dancing by herself at the community hall for her own birthday celebration. On the other hand, a big problem starts at Yugji's office. A client had bought a house through her, for his mistress. Now that same client's wife had arrived at their office, demanding legal rights over that house. According to the wife, since her husband bought the house, it belongs to her, not his mistress. She creates a huge scene right there in the office. Somehow, Yugji manages to calm her down and takes her aside. She explains to her quietly that her husband had already registered that house in the mistress's name, though she cannot claim any rights over it, and she cannot get the money back either. Yugji feels really bad for that woman deep inside, but her boss had already made it clear to her that who buys a house and for whom, that is not their business. Their job is just to sell and make a profit. All of this was making Yugji exhausted, and seeing her best friends enjoying themselves in Kashgar while she was stuck like this made her feel even worse. She was feeling very alone. Just then, she gets a text from her mom asking her to come home for a few days. So the very next day, Yugji takes a train and heads to Kashgar. At the station, she finds a tree branch being sold and takes it along with her. Now at that same station, we see a boy named Lin. He accidentally bumps into Yugji. She apologizes and moves forward, but Lin stops for a moment and looks at her. After some time, Yugji reaches her Kashgar home. The house owner and all the families there, even her own family, were all preparing for her arrival. They had cooked her favorite food, and the one who was most excited to see her was Yun Mei. However, Yao was upset with Yugji because she had neither come to her birthday nor picked up her calls. Still, Yun Mei stops Yao from fighting with her and tells her to greet Yugji nicely. After some time, Yugji arrives home. The first to meet her is Grandma Mei Lin, the house owner, and she is overjoyed to see Yugji. Then Yugji meets everyone else, and they all plant the tree branch she had brought with her. They did not yet know whether it would grow into a flower tree or a fruit tree. During this time, Lin arrives at that very same house while asking around for the address. There he talks to Cheng, the owner's son, and rents a room for himself. Cheng first explains the entire history of the house to Lin, and also apologizes in advance for the noise of a party that was going to happen that night. However, Cheng does not tell Lin what the party is for. Meanwhile, Yao's boyfriend had come to drop her home, and Yun Mei was carefully keeping guard so no one would find out. Then Yun Mei introduces Yao and Yugji to each other again, and within a few moments, the awkwardness between them starts to fade away. That night, all the families living in the house have dinner together with the house owner. Yugji had come home after so many days, so everyone was serving her food one by one. Everyone thought she was doing a big job in Shanghai, had even bought her own house and must be very happy. But the reality? No one knew it. Actually, Yuji's father Ming had passed away, and her mom had called her to Kashgar for a memorial in his memory. Tonight's dinner was also for his death anniversary. Ever since her father's passing, Yuji had fallen into deep depression. She was closest to her father among everyone. A little later, Feng comes to Yuji with her father's belongings and memories, and tells her not to be sad. Her father could never stand seeing Yuji cry. Now through Cheng, we learn that Yuji's father Ming had been working as a doctor in a war zone where an explosion took his life. Everyone present there starts sharing memories of Ming and the moments they spent with him. Listening to all of this, Lin feels really bad for Yuji, but Feng does not let anyone stay sad. She calls everyone together to dance and sing, because that was Ming's wish. He never wanted anyone to cry for him. During all of this, Yuji receives news that in her absence, her company is thinking of firing her and her entire team. She does not know what to do in this situation. She cannot suddenly rush back to China. That is when she runs into Lin, who had accidentally overheard her conversation. He apologizes for that, but she refuses to talk to him. Meanwhile, Feng is lost in memories of Ming, how Ming had left his own work and come back from China, all for her. But here in Kashgar, it is Feng herself who encourages him to go back and fulfill his dream. And Ming, listening to Feng, starts working again in his medical profession. But who knew that one day, while doing his duty, he would lose his life, and all that would be left for Feng would be his blood-stained clothes. On the other side, Yuji was doing some gardening late at night, and during that time, Lin was secretly clicking her photos. He was just about to get caught, but he hid himself just in time. Then Yuji goes and sleeps with Grandma Mei Lin, asking her about her childhood stories. She spends a beautiful time with her. That night, in her dreams, Yuji revisits all the precious moments she had spent with her father in this house. She felt as if her dad was still standing under that big tree outside the house, waiting for her to come back from school, just like he always used to, just like he is still waiting for her even now. Waking up from this dream in tears, she steps outside her room and sits on the terrace. She remembers that when she was in Shanghai, she had heard about an explosion in a war zone on the news. She had ignored that news at the time. That same day, her father had tried to video call her, but she was busy, so she did not pick up. She had no idea that would have been the last call from her father. A little later, she found out that an explosion had occurred in exactly that kind of war zone, and her father had lost his life in it. She had even ignored his last call. The guilt of that moment still eats her alive. Every single day. But today, at least she has both her best friends by her side to support her. Still, Yuji keeps looking at her father's last text message, crying again and again. Her father can no longer hear anything she says. Yet Yuji sends a voice message to her father's number, telling him to always be happy in the other world, wherever he is. After this, we are shown a flashback scene where Yuji's father carries little Yuji on his shoulders and takes her around the market. Yuji is enjoying every bit of it, and at that moment, Ming teaches her something, that a market is like a mother and a father, where you can find everything you need. Back in the present, Yuji visits a dance academy outside which Yao's banner is displayed, because Yao is a famous dancer there, especially known for belly dancing. But lately, she has a small injury on her leg which was making dancing difficult. Still, when Yuji brings her high heels, Yao immediately starts dancing in them first. Actually, Yao always loves standing out from others, acting differently, dressing differently, so that everyone's attention stays on her. Everyone gives her attention. On the other hand, Yun Mei needed to help her father with his earthenware business. She also had a passion for making earthenware. Now there was a boy named Liang working with her father, and he did not really know how to make the earthenware properly. Yet her father did not want his own daughter Yun Mei to work there, simply because she is a girl. This made Yun Mei very angry. On top of that, she finds out that Liang had washed her clothes without even asking her. When she brings this up, her father says that Liang has been working with them since childhood, so he just helped her. What is the big deal? And besides, they planned to get her married to him in the future anyway. But Yun Mei had zero interest in any of this. Marriage was the last thing on her mind. She storms off angrily from there. Meanwhile, Yuji was heading home when she suddenly remembers something and runs back toward the dance academy. Inside the academy, Yao was practicing. For just a moment, she felt like Yuji was standing right there watching her. But in the next moment, she was not there. So Yao thought it must have been her imagination. But when she finishes practice and goes to the makeup room, she finds the medicine Yuji had left there for her injury. Seeing that, Yao feels really touched. She realizes that their friendship is still exactly the same. No matter how far apart they have been, not a single crack has appeared in their bond. In a nearby alley, some boys were playing football, and one of them accidentally broke Yun Mei's flower pot, the one she had made with so much effort and hard work. The boy apologizes for it, but Yun Mei does not want an apology. She wants the money for the pot. The boy agrees to pay, but he does not have the money right now. So as a deposit, he gives her his instrument toolkit and also gives her the address of his workplace so Yoon-mei can come and collect the money there. On the other side, some loan mafia guys show up at the shop of a boy named Zhao's parents. His family had taken a loan from them, and today was the last day to pay it back. If not paid, the mafia would take over their shop. Zhao's parents plead with them and ask for more time since Zhao is not home, but the mafia stays there and refuses to leave. So out of helplessness, his parents hand over all their jewelry to those lone mafia men, and only then do they finally leave. The next day, Yugji was getting ready to leave for Shanghai. During this time, Lin tries to start a conversation with her, but she shows no interest at all. Then, just as she was about to step out of the house, Yao's parents, the house owners, stop her. They want her to stay a few more days. They want her to go around the market, enjoy the place. When Yugji still does not agree, they send her to the market with their daughter Yao. Walking through the market, she is flooded with memories. All those beautiful days when she used to come here with her father. Yugji and Yao then go to buy a knife. The shop owner there had a soft spot for Yao and wanted to give them the knife at a lower price. Yao was ready to take advantage of that, but Yugji pays the actual full price for the knife. On the other side, Lin was also exploring the market and clicking photos to capture memories. Meanwhile, after getting separated from Yao, a goat suddenly starts chasing Yugji through the market. Luckily, a boy named Han grabs the goat and saves her. By then, Yao had also arrived, and we find out that Han is their school classmate. They have known each other for years. After this, Han starts walking around the market with them. But Yugji did not quite know how to react around Han, because back in high school, Han had feelings for Yugji, but Yugji did not feel the same way. And Han was liked by Yao, which is why a slight distance had grown in their friendship. So now that all three of them meet again, they start talking about their careers to get rid of the awkwardness. But in between, Han quietly finds out whether Yugji is married or not. And the strange part was that according to Han, he had already met Yugji at a high school reunion, but Yugji has no memory of that at all. While the two of them are discussing this, they suddenly hear someone screaming nearby. That person's goat was not breathing. Han steps in and helps, fixing the goat in no time. That is when Yao and Yugji learn from the people around them that Han is actually an engineer, and he is always ready to help anyone at any time. All of this is also witnessed by Lin, who was standing nearby. But before he can go and meet them, Yao and Yugji have already left. Now here we see that Han still loves Yugji. Even as she is leaving, he manages to find out how long she is staying. A past memory flashes in his mind, back in high school when he had brought a handmade necklace for Yugji to propose to her. But when Yao saw that necklace, she made fun of it. According to Yao, Yugji was going to Shanghai for higher studies. Why would she wear such a cheap necklace? Hearing Yao say that, Han could never gather the courage to actually give Yugji the necklace or confess his feelings. Now in the present, Yugji wants to talk to Yao about Han, but Yao changes the topic. According to her, her fiancé is far richer than Han, so why would she think about Han now? But if you look at it, Yao was a little jealous of Yugji deep down, because unlike Yugji, she never got to live life on her own terms. She had wanted to go to Shanghai and join a big dance academy, but she got stuck right here in Kashgar and had to join a small local dance academy. And now, in just a few days, her wedding is happening, and who knows if she will even be able to continue with her dance academy after marriage. On the other hand, Yugji did have freedom, but she was not happy either, because her family, her friends, her childhood home, everything was left behind. Meanwhile, Zhao had come back, and he had paid off the loan mafia and got his parents' jewelry back. Seeing this, his mother was absolutely overjoyed. The next day, Zhao goes to Yao with homemade chocolates. His friend tries to stop him from meeting her because her wedding was coming up soon, but Zhao loved Yao, so he does not listen. And maybe Yao liked Zhao too, because she could not stop herself from meeting him. She even shared all the feelings of her heart with him, even the part about liking Han back in high school. But now that her wedding was approaching, Yao had buried all her feelings deep inside her heart. Meanwhile, Lin had bought a cafe from a broker. He had a dream of living in Kashgar and running a restaurant cafe there. But within a short time, he realizes he has been scammed. That cafe is registered in someone else's name. Lin had just lost 1 lakh yuan. Gone just like that. On the other side, Yugji goes to visit her mom. For a moment, she got scared thinking her mom might be in trouble, but she then finds out her mom had just fallen asleep after drinking herbal medicine. Here, Yugji wants to take her mom with her to Shanghai, but her mom refuses to go. After all, this place holds so many beautiful memories with Yugji's father. How could she just leave? Besides, lately she had started taking care of plants to keep her mind at peace. Still, Yugji does not want to leave her mom alone right now. But according to her mom, when she had seen Ming's last belongings all packed in a small box, her heart had shattered. But now, she has pulled herself back together. Hearing this, Yugji does not push her mom anymore and keeps one last memory of her father close to her heart. Then when she goes outside for a walk, she receives news that she has been fired from her company. Hearing this, she gets really angry. In that anger, she goes and stands near a bridge and starts screaming out loud, and Lin hears her. At this point, both of their lives were in a mess. One had just lost her job. The other had been scammed out of all his savings. So to calm their minds, both of them cook dinner together and eat. And they share the stories of their lives with each other. On the other side, Yoonmei goes to that boy's workplace to collect money for her flower pot. That boy worked part-time at a restaurant, singing songs there. At this point, everyone's life was tangled up. Yao was not happy about her upcoming wedding. Zhao loved Yao, but she was marrying someone else. Han loved Yugji, but had never confessed. Lin had been scammed, and Yugji was depressed over her father's death, and now her job was gone too. Nobody knew where their lives would stop and settle. Then we saw a flashback scene. Some boys were bullying Yoonmei. At first, she was just quietly taking it. She could not even fight back. But when Yao and Yugji arrive and beat those bullies up and save Yoonmei, something changes inside her. She finds her courage. And then she too starts hitting those bullies. But because of all this, those bullies end up filing a complaint against all three girls. However, when the teacher complained about the girls to Yuji's mom, her mom simply said, "Next time, my girls will learn to defend themselves properly and give those bullies an even better beating." This time they got off a little easy. After that, a person on a bike rides off to teach those bullies another lesson. And who this person is, we will find out a little later. In the present, Yoonmei and Yugji had come along with Yao and her family for wedding dress shopping. They had gone to the shop owned by Yao's fiancé, Tian. He is a very rich businessman. That is why Yao's family had chosen him for her. Now, the wedding dress that Yao selected, both she and Tian loved it. But Yao's mother-in-law wanted her to wear a red silk dress, which Yao did not like at all, but she could not refuse her mother-in-law, and Tian could not say anything against his own mother either. Yao's two best friends, Yugji and Yoonmei, understood this situation right away. So they decide to wear the dress chosen by Yao's mother-in-law as their bridesmaid dresses, so their friend can wear the wedding dress of her own choice. This touches Yao very deeply. That same night, the three girls call their school friends and throw a bachelor party for Yao. Lin and Zhao were also invited, and Han was there too. He first takes a group photo of everyone, and then the party begins. During this time, Yao returns the gold jewelry gift that Zhao had given her, because according to Kashgar's traditional rules, a girl can only accept gold jewelry from her father or her husband. Here, we understand that both of them did love each other, but Yao had to marry someone rich. Zhao had gone away to earn money so he could become rich enough for her, but Yao did not wait for him. After all, how long could she wait for him to become rich? So she chose Tian, the man her family approved of, and today, whatever was left between them had completely ended. Then, a little later at the party, it comes out that Han used to be Yao's crush back in school, but according to Yao, she was just a kid back then. Loving Han was just a childish phase. Sometimes when people need you, they are not there, and some people can never truly fulfill your needs. So it is better for some relationships to just end. Hearing all of this, Zhao is deeply hurt, but he says nothing. Later that night, the three girls have their own private rooftop party. During this, Yao shares her wish, that she wants to see the sunrise at Snowcap Mountain. And according to Kashgar's traditional rules, after marriage, Yao will not be allowed to see it anymore. Zhao hears this, and he puts her in the car and takes her to Snowcap Mountain to watch the sunrise. At first, she was about to leave without even seeing it, but when the sun rises between those snow-covered mountains, both of them are left completely breathless by its beauty. For Yao, it felt like her dream. For Zhao, it felt like his love. Yao herself, something he could not have, something both of them could not reach. Then, when Zhao drops Yao home, he tells her one last thing, that until today, he had always stood by her side for her happiness. But after today, he will not. From now on, he will choose his own self-respect over Yao. This was the last time he would ever do something for her happiness. Saying this, he walks away, and Yao just watches her love walk away from her life forever. Meanwhile, we see that the tree branch Yugji had brought home was now growing bigger, but her life had become just as complicated as before. Her job was gone, and now no good company was offering her a new one, despite giving so many interviews. Just like Yugji, Lin's situation was no different. In the process of opening a restaurant, he had been scammed and lost all his savings. Now he wanted to renovate Yao's father's homestay with a mix of modern and traditional design, and make it the most famous homestay in Kashgar. And Cheng's homestay was already years old. Many people already knew it. so with proper management, it could earn even more profit. Lin also wanted to become Chang's partner in this work. Yugji overhears this and feels like Lin's plan will likely fail. But according to Lin, his business plans never fail. Sometimes he just gets scammed. But this time, he is going to make this homestay business plan a success, no matter what. A little later, Yugji goes with her mom to visit patients in nearby villages. They treat the patients and also provide them food. Yugji suggests her mom open a clinic at home, but her mom says not every patient can travel that far to visit them. A doctor's duty is to help every single patient, and it is also important to make the people of Kashgar aware of Chinese medicine. Along with this, she advises Yugji to live a good life in Shanghai. If she is struggling there, then she should not stay. She cannot watch her daughter being bullied by the world. But Yugji does not tell her mom about the problems currently going on in her life. The next day, Yao's parents were cleaning their old family carpet. Yugji helps them with it. Whenever a wedding happens in the house, the bride walks on this very carpet to perform the wedding rituals. Then the night before the wedding, Yao's mom gifts her their family jewelry, which she had been saving for her daughter all these years. Along with that, she gives her an ATM card which had her savings in it. Seeing all of this, Yao becomes very emotional. Now, Yao had no tension about this wedding. She was hoping that Tian would help her fulfill her dream of becoming a famous dancer. His business is spread to foreign countries too, so she could shift abroad with him and take her dance to a bigger stage. However, Yao's mom tells her to focus more on the marriage than her dreams. She herself had a dream of becoming a dancer once, but after marrying Yao's father, she sacrificed all her dreams. Between family and children, she never even got time to think about her own dreams. The next day was Yao's wedding. The groom arrived with his family and guests. That same old family carpet was placed between the bride and groom, but just as Yao was about to walk across that carpet toward the groom's sister starts wiping her shoes on that carpet. The people on the bride's side were not happy about this at all, but no one had the courage to say anything to the groom's family. Everyone ignores it and heads toward the wedding hall. On the way, Zhao sees Yao passing by in the car in her wedding dress, heading to the wedding hall. Yao sees him too, but she did not have the courage to look into Zhao's eyes. Watching the one you love become someone else's, that was heartbreaking for him. Somehow, he holds himself together and goes to work. Then at the wedding hall, Yao's parents give her the keys to the house and tell her, even though she is now part of another family, her parents' home will always be hers. Everything was going normally at first, but during a ritual where the groom's sister had to walk under a scarf to reach the bride, and the bride's friends were blocking her path, the sister-in-law gets so angry that she tears the scarf apart. This behavior was absolutely unacceptable to the bride's family. It was very clear that the groom's family was trying to show themselves as superior, but to save the wedding, no one said anything against the groom's family. Yunmei and Yugji also felt terrible about all this, but when Yao herself asked them not to say anything, they stayed quiet. Now that evening at dinner, Yugji's mom and the entire homestay family come to know that Yugji is now jobless, and there is also some issue with the contract of the house she had bought. Everyone still has full faith in Yugji that she will find a good job soon, but Yugji was not at all happy that this news had come out in front of everyone like this. She leaves the gathering in anger. Yunmei and Yao follow her to calm her down, but here, Yugji ends up taking out her frustration on Yao, asking her why she is tolerating such rude behavior from Tian's family. Just then, Yugji's mom arrives. She reminds them of that school day when they all together had beaten up those bullies. Now, just like those bullies, Tian's family is bullying Yao, so they need to handle this situation just like they handled it back then. And it is at this very moment that we finally find out the person on the bike who had gone to teach those bullies a lesson back then was none other than Yugji's own mom. After this, we see a past flashback scene. When Yao, Yugji, and Yunmei were little, they used to tell each other a story about a prince. Yao's dream was that one day a prince would come and take her away and give her a wonderful life. Back in the present, Grandma Meilin was drawing Yugji's eyebrows using herbal medicine, because according to Kashgar's traditional stories, the smaller the gap between a person's eyebrows, the closer they will stay to home. And Grandma Meilin always wanted Yugji to stay close. Just then, Yao arrives. Her father had stopped eating. After seeing Tian's family's arrogant behavior, he had stopped the wedding. He was very worried about her, but Yao still wanted to continue with the wedding. Now everyone was gossiping about what Tian's family had done at the wedding. According to people, the groom's family had not spoken a single word to the bride's family properly. The entire wedding had run on their terms. During this, Liang, the boy working at Yunmei's father's shop, was also about to say something about this. But Yunmei arrives and takes him away. Alone, she scolds him harshly for gossiping. His gossip could ruin Yao's entire life. While the two of them were talking about this, Yao's husband Tian arrives. He teases both Yunmei and Liang by calling them lovers. This makes Yunmei extremely angry. She goes on to call out Tian's family's arrogant behavior in front of him. The argument between them gets so heated that Yunmei throws a stone at Tian's car in anger. Luckily, Luckily, Yao and Yugji arrive at the right moment and stop the fight between Yunmei and Tian. But because of all this drama, a misunderstanding grows between the three friends and they stop talking to each other. According to Yao, unlike Yugji, she was never given freedom. She is marrying Tian for that very freedom, so that through him, she can fulfill her dream of becoming a famous dancer on a big level. Her other dancer friends have also gotten a comfortable life by marrying rich men. But according to Yugji, by doing this and living on false hopes, Yao is ruining her own life. By marrying Tian, she has broken her own dreams. His family will never let her be free, and Yao can fulfill her dream on her own strength, just like Yugji did everything alone. Yes, she is jobless right now, but she is the master of her own decisions. No husband or in-laws are controlling her like Yao. But what about Yunmei? Her dream is to make earthenware, and her father never supports her in that. Because of all these tensions, the three of them have a big argument and stop talking to each other. Meanwhile, Yao's father Cheng was also taking advice from his friends about the homestay. Their opinion too was the same as Lin's, that Cheng should upgrade his homestay, then its income would increase just like other modern homestays. But still, Cheng did not want to change the way he ran the homestay. That night, Yugji comes to sleep near Grandma Meilin. Grandma Meilin immediately understands that the three best friends have had a fight. She explains to Yugji that just like the wall around Yunmei's house, no matter how small it is, they never cross it without permission. In the same way, we should never interfere in other people's life decisions without their permission. And right here, Yugji understands what Grandma Meilin is truly saying. The next day, some guests were checking out of the homestay because they were not getting the specialties they expected, like modern homestays offer. Cheng was not handling this situation well at all. If Lin and Yugji had not stepped in just in time, the situation would have gotten worse. But the two of them handle it so well that those guests leave after paying in full, without any complaints or anger. Seeing this, Cheng is very impressed by Lin, and he agrees to hear Lin's advice about renovating the homestay. On the other side, because of an injury on his hand, Yunmei's father could no longer make earthenware properly, so Yunmei comes to help him. But he refuses her help and tells her to stay away from this work. This hurts her deeply. Just then, Grandma Meilin comes and asks Yunmei to help her get to the terrace. Yunmei takes her up, but when Yao and Yugji also arrive on the terrace, Grandma Meilin leaves all three of them there and locks the door from outside. She was not going to open that door until the misunderstanding between the three friends was cleared, and her plan works perfectly. Within a very short time, the three of them hug each other and become best friends again, just like before. That same night was Yao's dance performance, but in the makeup room, she was feeling nauseous from a perfume smell, even though she had used that very same perfume many times before. On the other side, Yugji was doing small delivery jobs part-time these days, and today, Lin helps her with it. But during the delivery, their cart meets with a small accident on a slope. They both sit together, rest, and share. Here, Lin offers Yugji a job. He wanted her to be his partner in the homestay business. He wanted to renovate Cheng's homestay in Kashgar with a mix of modern and traditional look to attract customers. And he wanted Yugji to convince Cheng to give him a chance. Cheng would remain the owner. Lin would just do the work and manage the homestay. That night, Yugji thinks about all of this on the terrace and talks to Lin about it. Yugji herself wanted a job that made her heart happy. In Shanghai, with her corporate job, she had even forgotten how to sleep. At night, when she could not sleep, she would sing songs. And after that, to lift her spirits, she starts singing along with Lin as well. The next day, Lin sends Yugji a friend request on a dating app, which she accepts. Meanwhile, Lin was advising Cheng on how to increase the homestay's popularity. Then he and Yugji go out to explore Kashgar according to their plan. On the way, the two of them take a lift from a random person who tells them about some hidden tourist places. They then explore a mountain together, and they absolutely love the beauty of it. For a little while, they forget about their stressful lives and fall asleep peacefully right there on that mountain. A little later, the two of them visit a local shop. The owner of that shop becomes good friends with them and takes them to a local wedding happening in the area, so that Lin and Yugji can witness the traditional marriage customs there. Both of them wear traditional clothes and enjoy the wedding to the fullest. During this, they run into the same driver who had given them a lift earlier. This was actually his sister-in-law's wedding, and this moment of happiness doubles for Lin, because Yugji had accepted his job offer and was now going to convince Cheng herself. During all of this, we can see a connection forming between Lin and Yugji, as if both of them are starting to like each other. Now, today happened to be Yugji's birthday. After finding this out through a message from Yunmei, Lin wishes her a happy birthday, and he also motivates her to move forward in life because Lin knew that Yugji was depressed over her father's passing. Hearing this from Lin, Yugji feels genuinely good inside. The next day, both of them visit an agricultural farm. The owner of that local shop gives them a lot of information about the farm. After this, we see another flashback scene, where the three girls had just returned from school. At home, Yugji's father and Yao's father were playing a talkbook game together. Everyone in the house knew how seriously both of them took that game, and it was this very game game that had made their friendship so deep and meaningful. Back in the present, an Eid celebration was happening. During the celebration, Lin tells Yugji to delete her dating app because he had deleted his too. In this way, Lin was trying to tell her that from now on, he would not look at any other girl. But Yugji does not catch his hint. Just then, Cheng arrives and helps both Lin and Han put on their traditional outfits for Eid. After that, everyone gets together and starts dancing. Meanwhile, at Yunmei's father's request, Liang was sharpening a knife so that mutton could be distributed to people on the occasion of Eid. Usually, every year this job was done by Yunmei's uncle. But according to Yan, Yunmei's father, since Yunmei is going to marry Liang anyway, this year his future son-in-law would do the job. This did not sit well with Yunmei at all, and she leaves from there. A little later, Yunmei goes to the instrument shop belonging to the boy who had broken her flower pot. That boy wanted to give Yunmei the money, but she did not want money. She wanted a different kind of help. The boy's name was Young, and Yunmei asks Young to be her fake boyfriend, so that her father stops forcing her into marriage. Young agrees to her plan and goes with her to the Eid celebration at her house. Everyone welcomes him warmly. By then, Yao had also come home for Eid, but her husband Tian and his family did not think it necessary to come with her. Still, Yao acts normal and talks to everyone. Yunmei's father was not happy that Yunmei had a boyfriend, and Liang was clearly upset and ready to leave, because he had been hoping to marry Yunmei all this time. In reality, Yunmei had an older brother who had passed away a few years ago, and Yunmei's father Yan saw his own son in Liang. That was why he wanted to marry Yunmei to him and make him a part of the family. But Yunmei could not marry someone just because her father decided so. According to her, her brother is gone. No one can take his place. And her father should not be looking for her brother in some other boy. Hearing Yunmei say this, her father feels very hurt and angrily leaves the table without eating. Here we learn what happened in the past. Yunmei and her brother loved each other deeply. One day, Yunmei had brought home a dog that her father did not want in the house. So she asked her brother to hide the dog in an abandoned house nearby and stay with it for a while. Her brother agreed and went, but shortly after, that house suddenly collapsed, and he was killed in it. However, the dog survived, and it is still with Yunmei to this day. But her father blamed Yunmei for her brother's death, because it was Yunmei who had sent her brother to that abandoned house. That is why for years, Yunmei never received her father's love. Lost in all these painful memories, she was getting sadder. But just then, her two best friends come and comfort her, and a little later they bring her outside the house. Young was already standing there waiting. Yunmei thanks him for agreeing to be her fake boyfriend, and he asks how she is doing before leaving. And during this moment, we notice a quiet connection forming between the two, as if they are beginning to like each other. On the other side, when Yao comes home, she wants to share everything about her entire day with her husband, but he is not at all interested in listening to her. Instead, as soon as she walks in, he sends her straight to the kitchen to make dinner. And in that kitchen, so much work was piled up, work that she always had to do alone. Even when he is free, Tian never helps her. On top of that, for her dance performance, Yao also had to watch her diet. She needed to avoid meat. She had already eaten meat at her parents' house for Eid. Now she needed to have vegetables. But because of Tian's stubbornness, she ends up eating meat anyway. Still, she asks him to help with the housework because she gets very tired coming back from the dance academy. But according to Tian, household responsibilities are hers alone. No matter how tired she is, she has to do the housework. After all, he does not ask Yao for help when he is fixing a car, does he? Tian's words deeply hurt Yao, and she does not even have the courage left to argue with him. During all of this, Yao was feeling nauseous again and again, so she takes a pregnancy test, and it comes back positive. But Yao keeps this news hidden from everyone for now. She only tells Yugji and Yunmei. Yao wanted to have the baby quickly and then focus on her dance career. But according to Yugji, having a baby is a huge decision. After the baby comes, her entire career could end right there. But Yao had made up her mind to go through with the pregnancy. She has a house, she has money, she has everything. At this point, she wants to have the baby and be free. And as for her most important dance show, she will hide her pregnancy to keep her spot as the main dancer. No matter how much she does for her in-laws, she will never be considered a good daughter-in-law anyway. So she will keep the pregnancy hidden until her show is done. And her friends were ready to stand by her in this plan. Both Yunmei and Yugji go with Yao for her medical checkup, and they were both very happy and excited about the pregnancy. Then Yugji meets her mom for lunch. She shares with her the decision that she is not going back to Shanghai, and her mom says that Yugji is an adult. She can make her own decisions. She will not interfere. And perhaps she herself will now take retirement from the medical field too. She has worked with the local doctors here for so many years. Now she also needs rest. During this, Yugji takes some pregnancy tips from her mom for Yao, and then her mom shares with Yugji how her own pregnancy had been, what changes she experienced in her body, and what she went through while raising Yugji in her motherhood journey. On the other side, Yoonmei had gone to Young's shop. There, he introduces her to his grandfather and his cat. Then Yoonmei tells Young that she cannot ask him to be her fake boyfriend anymore, because last time it had really hurt her father. Hearing this, Young feels a little bad, and he points out that if she stops the fake boyfriend act, her father will keep pressuring her to marry Liang. Hearing this, she requests him to continue being her fake boyfriend for a little longer, and he agrees immediately. A few days later, all the homestay families went on a picnic together. During this, Lin was clicking photos of Yugji, but suddenly both of them realize that they are looking at each other in a different way, something more than before. However, neither of them says anything about it. Instead, they start discussing how to convince Chung to renovate and manage the homestay. According to Lin's business plan, he will renovate the homestay based on Yugji's design, manage the business himself, and give half the profit to Cheng, and Cheng will remain the owner. Now Yugji had a plan to convince Cheng. She plays the same talkbook game with him that her father used to play, and sets a bet that if she wins, Cheng will agree to her homestay proposal. The game begins, but in the middle, Yugji stops playing. Later, Cheng explains the game to Lin, but on the way back home, Cheng gets an injury on his leg and will have to stay in a wheelchair for a few days. As soon as they get home, Yugji challenges Cheng to the talkbook game again, but this time Lin plays in Cheng's place, and Yugji loses. But still, Cheng promises to at least think seriously about the homestay business proposal. During this time, Yugji and Lin were visiting different homestays to study how other businesses were run, and Cheng had understood by now that their homestay's price was much lower compared to other hotels and homestays. On the other side, Yugji had told Yao about her decision to not go back to Shanghai, which came as a big shock to Yao, because according to her plans, after her dance show, she was going to do big shows abroad, and Yugji was supposed to come back to Kashgar from foreign places, not stop going at all. But everything does not always go according to plan. The next day, Yao goes to her dance academy and discovers that someone else has been given the main lead role in her show because her in-laws had somehow found out about her pregnancy from someone else, and they had told the dance academy teacher to keep Yao away from dancing. In just one moment, all her dreams were shattered. Maybe she would never be able to think about becoming a dancer again. She had thought that by marrying Tian, her dream of becoming a famous dancer abroad would come true. But here, just because of having a baby, she had been caged away from her own dreams. Still today, one last time, Yao dances in front of her two best friends, and both of them cheer her on with all their hearts.